Welcome to The Explainer. So, let's talk about June 11th, 2026, a date that tech analyst Aaron Rose argues is the exact moment the AI industry literally grew up. We're going to distill today's absolutely staggering tech news into three distinct pillars, showing exactly how the artificial intelligence ecosystem has shifted from a chaotic race of model building into an era of massive entrenched infrastructure. And more importantly, we'll cover why this matters for the future of the technology we're all going to rely on.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First, the AI infrastructure landlord. Second, the self-regulation paradox. Third, the enterprise distribution moat. And lastly, we'll quickly scan the broader AI landscape.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the AI infrastructure landlord. SpaceX absolutely made history today. They just closed the largest initial public offering on record, raising a mind-bending $75 billion. I mean, to put that into perspective, this single raise more than doubles the previous all-time record set by Saudi Aramco back in 2019. It's just a staggering influx of capital, and it completely sets the stage for a massive shift in how AI compute power is funded globally. When you look at the actual numbers, the sheer scale is just wow. We're talking a fixed price of $135 across over 555 million shares, which, let's be honest, feels more like Elon Musk's personal meme signature rather than a strict Wall Street calculation. But this gives SpaceX an employed day-one valuation of roughly $1.75 to $1.77 trillion. That makes it instantly more valuable than Tesla. And if you're wondering why, just look at the fundamentals. Their Starlink internet unit is acting as a total profit engine, pulling in almost $1.2 billion in operating profit in just the first quarter of 2026 alone, with over 10 million subscribers.
But here is where things get super weird, in a fascinating way. Look at this allocation breakdown. A massive 30% of these public shares are going directly to everyday retail investors. Normally, you'd see maybe 5 to 10% for a deal of this magnitude. So millions of individual investors are buying in at the exact same price as the massive institutions. Since demand was completely invisible during the fixed price roadshow, this huge retail allocation means Friday's NASDAQ opening is going to be a wild, unprecedented experiment in retail price discovery for a trillion-dollar company.
And this really shows the underlying strategy of how they are locking in the future of the industry. Their XAI segment, right alongside their Colossus data center, has essentially secured multi-billion-dollar monthly compute contracts extending all the way through 2029. We're talking $1.25 billion per month from Anthropic and $920 million per month from Google. It's wild. They are quite literally renting out the picks and shovels to their own fiercest rivals. Tech analyst Aaron Rose really hit the nail on the head here. He noted that Musk built the world's largest private GPU cluster. And yeah, maybe he lost the initial model race, but then he masterfully pivoted to rent that heavy infrastructure right back to his competitors. Taking the whole thing public means that today is the day the AI infrastructure era officially got its first publicly traded landlord. Moving right along to Section 2, the self-regulation paradox. So over at Anthropic, CEO Dario Amodei just dropped a massive, sweeping policy essay. He's sounding the alarm on huge, long-lasting disruptions to the labor market caused by AI. To back it up, Anthropic pledged a combined $350 million. That's a $200 million research fund and a $150 million national fellowship. But the real kicker? He's actively proposing strict aviation-style regulations for AI. He's advocating that models should essentially require an airworthiness certification, equivalent to FAA rules, before they can be released. And he's basically begging the government to have the legal authority to block dangerous models. Now, we've got to step back and look objectively at the timing here, because it reveals an incredible paradox. On one hand, Anthropic is playing the role of the loudest warning bell, pledging millions for job loss and asking the government for a kill switch. But on the exact same week, look at their business moves. They just launched Fable 5, which is their absolute most advanced, expensive public model yet. They just filed a confidential S1 to go public. And as we literally just saw, they are SpaceX's biggest compute customer. So they are hyper-aggressively commercializing the exact same technology they're asking the government to heavily restrict. As Aaron Rose points out, this leaves us looking at some structurally fascinating proposals. You've got a company publicly asking for rules that could heavily bottleneck its own future products, right as they're gearing up for an IPO. So, is this a profound act of genuine institutional accountability? Or is it incredibly savvy pre-IPO positioning to build an insurmountable regulatory moat? Or maybe a bit of both? Honestly, that's a massive question the market is going to have to decipher. All right, into Section 3, The enterprise distribution moat.
So how do these massive models actually get sold to global businesses? Well, OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank are putting the pedal to the metal on the Stargate project. They just announced 5 brand new AI data center sites. The crown jewel here is their flagship campus in Abilene, Texas, which has actually already started receiving the very first real-world deliveries of NVIDIA's highly anticipated GB200 Blackwell Ultra racks. That is an unbelievable amount of physical compute capacity coming online at scale.
But the real genius is how they are choosing to sell that capacity. OpenAI and Oracle revealed an integration where enterprise clients can just use their existing Oracle Universal credits to access OpenAI models directly through Oracle Cloud. Think about the so what here for daily business operations. Step 1, you use the budget you already have approved. Step 2, you get instant access. It completely bypasses that awful months-long nightmare of having Fortune 500 legal and IT departments evaluate a brand new vendor from scratch. It's just instant, frictionless deployment. As Aaron Rose notes, this isn't just a technical update. It is an absolute masterclass in sales. Oracle's install base covers the world's biggest financial, healthcare, and manufacturing giants. So this distribution race is now a fierce two-platform war. Anthropic is leveraging AWS and Azure. Now OpenAI has Azure and Oracle. That creates an impenetrable distribution moat right before OpenAI's expected S1 filing. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 4, the broader AI landscape. So, while the big three were grabbing all the massive headlines today, the rest of the industry definitely wasn't taking a nap. Google is quietly hitting insane generation speeds with their experimental text diffusion model, Diffusion Gemma. We're talking over 1,000 tokens per second on an H100 GPU, proving the tech is getting wildly efficient. Meanwhile, Microsoft and GitHub are dealing with this simmering, ongoing developer backlash over Copilot token billing changes, and they haven't really given a direct response yet. Oh, and Apple's WWDC 2026 wraps up tomorrow, which means the consumer side of this whole AI equation is staying in extremely sharp focus. As we wrap up this explainer, you really have to step back and look at the whole board today. SpaceX became the trillion-dollar infrastructure landlord. Anthropic proposed regulations that could essentially pull the ladder up behind them, and OpenAI just locked down massive Fortune 500 distribution through Oracle. It leaves us with this huge provocative question to ponder. If the tech titans are aggressively cementing their capital, regulatory, and distribution moats right now, how in the world will any new challengers possibly survive in tomorrow's AI economy? Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.